SBC Media.
Welcome to Behind the Badge, the podcast from SBC Sponsorship and Insider Sport, discussing the latest approaches to sports sponsorship.
Welcome to the Behind the Badge podcast, where we deep dive into what is at the heart of sponsorships from a range of sports and teams. I'm your host, Callum Williams, business journalist for Insider Sport, and I'm joined by my co-host, the director of SBC Sponsorship, George Harborn. George, how excited are you for this episode of the podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. Very excited. You know, a great guest today as well to join us, and I'm really excited to welcome him to joining us.
Yeah, if you don't mind me introducing, we are joined today by Pablo Arquero, head of sponsorship for La Liga football club Real Betis. Pablo, welcome to Behind the Badge podcast, and thank you for your time speaking with us today. How's your day been so far?
Hi everyone. Thank you very much, Callum, George. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm very honored to also be here with you. And as you said, I'm the head of sponsorship at Real Betis, a football club participating in La Liga First Division and UEFA competitions, Spanish Cup. So before just tackling any topic, I'll try to do my best, despite of English not being my mother tongue. I'll be as clear as I can, and also any information or any topic that we will be discussing, just don't take them as official Betis statement, because there will be obviously some personal opinions.
Oh, of course. We'll put the disclaimer. These do not reflect the views of Real Betis. So speaking of Real Betis, the pre-season tour in the US and Mexico, just talk to us what you've heard from the club, how that's going in terms of fan investment.
When it comes to Mexican market, we have been very strong historically. We have had players within our team that are icons over there, that have been like national Mexican team captain, like Guardado. We had Lainez until not that long ago. We also have Guido Rodriguez, who is Argentinian, but he also played in his early years in Mexico or in the La Liga MX. So he's also very, very well considered there. So yeah, it was a very good opportunity to go there, to meet our fans, to be closer to them, and to provide them with a more on-site experience.
And obviously this trip comes as part of a kind of broader, bigger internationalization push that's taken place from La Liga. With funding having come into the league to I guess be specifically put toward this internationalization efforts. How beneficial has that support been? What challenges have come off the back of that support? You know, I know that there's been certain budgets put aside for dedicated resource to be hired within the clubs. How's that gone so far? And I guess what successes are you seeing?
Well, I mean, definitely it has been already 5 or so years since La Liga started its own internationalization program with delegates all around the world, and obviously La Liga at the end of the day is an ecosystem of clubs in where we are part of them. So having La Liga also promoting La Liga as a brand, also promoting the rest of clubs around the globe has been super beneficial. Obviously, there are some challenges within all this process, because at the end of the day, La Liga is a brand by itself, and then each club has their own interests in terms also as a brand, commercial, and also growth. But it's a matter of co-living in that space. La Liga has been investing heavily, as you said, and now since August 2021, when there was this CDC deal approved, also a lot of clubs have had access to an investment or advanced investment that also has helped them over the last season and then the years to come to be promoted or to grow faster than what was expected, and obviously this growth needs to be international. So yeah, all in all, this investment has helped us a lot to grow rapidly or quicker than expected, but also there are challenges in between, and we have to call it with La Liga also interest.
Yeah, I mean, an interesting point that you just said there, Pablo, was you kind of said La Liga being a brand in its own right. And I guess one of the big challenges for any of the teams, Real Betis included, is how do you make people remember Real Betis rather than La Liga? How do you break through that barrier of and create that identity that people want to align with?
Well, I mean, clubs have some assets that La Liga don't, and obviously La Liga has also better things that maybe clubs don't have that developed. On the club side, obviously we have players. That's our biggest and main assets. So obviously having certain players help to link communities or to associate club to some territories. But it's not just players, because obviously players come and go, but the team remain. It also has something to do with values and with the way you position yourself. We are very well known as a dynamic club in social media. The way we record video, the way we do announcement, the always trying to find this funny way of communicating rather than traditional or standard communication ways. So that definitely has helped. Even if we have fans there that are not like Beticos or Betis fans, they are fans from the club in the way the club communicates, the way the club, deals with the fan base.
Yeah, I kind of had a question to follow up on that, Pablo. I mean, you was talking about how, you're creating these kind of like, unique, funny ways, even like announcing football players and such on social media. You're seeing that quite often over the past couple of years, of countries like the Premier League, for instance. You see, funny little movie gifs of announcing players. Is that something that, Betis have been doing more recently, or is that kind of like what you've been doing in the league such years before? Or is that just the times that we're in?
No, I mean, I think that obviously we have had we have been improving the way we have communicating different topics. I mean, there is one way of communicating new players. There is one way of communicating new deals. There are ways of communicating some other news, based on the different topics we want to cover. But until last year, we had our captain. He's a legend. Has been an icon. His name is Joaquin Sanchez. He helped a lot in all these things, because just the way he says "Buenos días" or "Good afternoon." Yeah. He has that there is a job coming in right after, and so that
he's a legend.
He's a legend. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. So obviously having him within the team also, always help in terms of communicating. But for example, the way we do things is we try always to be on the top of the trending topics, and then we try to apply them into the communication model that we are covering at the moment.
Just you were mentioning kind of a second ago about that kind of creating that connection with fans and all the rest of it. In terms of the tools you use internationally, obviously we're talking here about digital assets and creating connection through social media channels and also getting the squad out there. But the squad can only go out there in the summer, right? So on the ground, I know that you guys have launched academies as well overseas and the rest of it to create that all year round connection with communities abroad.
Yeah, well, also, coming back to the CVC topic, basically, Betis specific case, CVC will be advancing as something between 90 to 100 million euros that will be delivered to the club. Part of it has been already delivered, and part of it will be delivered the coming months. Basically, 70% of that amount will be dedicated to club development in terms of infrastructure. 15% you can use it you can use it for your accumulated debt or historical debt. And 15% can be used for player renewals, player extensions, new signings, like stars retention and things like that. So from this, out of this 70%, when it comes to what Betis has done, we have invested most of it in brick and click, is what we call brick and click. So
makes sense.
One part has been or will be reinvested in the new stadium, which constructions will start at the end of this 23-24 season, and in the new training facilities, which started last season, the 22-23 season. So this is a big amount already allocated there. The new
it's huge.
Training facilities will be with 15 football pitches, paddle tennis, basketball, the new academy or grassroots residents.
Incredible facilities,
exactly. And then other part of that amount that we got from CVC was invested in digital growth, what we call the click, international academies, human resources that are helping us to penetrate and to reach some markets, some territories on a different way. So these new academies actually, there was a newsletter from La Liga sent this week, and it highlights the Betis International Academies expansion as an example to take a look into. It experienced a 140% growth over the last season. It was a way, as I said, to break into new markets. We have open academies all around the world. Latin America, Africa, Asia, North America, Europe. So it's also a way to be closer to those fans worldwide. Obviously, we have been able to maintain our own communication channels, Betis TV and Betis Radio, which allows us to make some special and specific content for our fan base. Also, in terms of digital or social media platforms, we have been growing in Instagram, Facebook, but also TikTok. We have Weibo. We have, we opened a Twitter. We had it in Spanish, in English, obviously, and now we open it in Arabic. So we are, part of those investment or that advanced money provided by CDC is being reinvested wisely in all the areas where we can grow accordingly or quicker than expected, because we had to recover from COVID. It probably could take us years to reach those figures.
It's funny you mentioned that as well, Pablo. Some of the youth academies you're setting up in different territories. I've seen that newsletter from La Liga as well. Have you heard what is some of the early feedback you're hearing from some of those international territories? Is it positive?
Yeah. Definitely. Probably not all of them can be seen or considered the same way, because obviously we are talking and we have to think based on different cultures, on different situations, on different demographics.
Absolutely, yeah.
But we have super successful cases in where the academies are at the moment nowadays hosting hundreds of players. There are others that maybe in year one struggle a little bit more, but now that they are starting year 3, they are reaching super good numbers in terms of the young people wanting to sign or to join the academies, but also as a club, some of these academies, or the fact of being in certain territories through the academies, has helped us to secure regional deals with other brands from that territory. It is the example of Zimbabwe in Africa. It is the case in Chile as well, where we have been able to secure sponsorships, regional sponsorship, because obviously we landed there before through one of these international academies.
That's incredible to see that direct correlation between being in market and then being able to commercialize that. I know that the reason for launching academies won't just be, purely about commercialization. It's about spreading the Betis brand and all the rest of it. But fundamentally, these things have to pay for themselves. So it's incredible to hear that some of those deals have already been getting done in territories like Zimbabwe and Chile. I think just on the point of that commercialization, La Liga, you guys have, compared to Premier League sides, for instance, you guys have the regional feeds that are open to you, which means you can genuinely regionalize the deals that you want to work on in different territories. How beneficial is that? How challenging is that? I guess there's an argument that it's really good because you can be super focused and targeted in the territories that you're going after as a brand. I guess the challenge for that, certainly I could foresee a challenge working club side in the past, that you just end up with a load of inventory, right? You haven't just got 90 minutes to sell on a global feed. You've got 90 minutes to sell in a bunch of different territories around the world. So from a resource perspective, that can become intensive. How have you guys, I know you've been working on that for a while now. It's not a new thing for La Liga, but what kind of opportunities has that created? And, upside versus downside, where do you guys sit on that?
Well, yeah, definitely. In Spain, it's a bit different because clubs, they don't own the whole inventory. It's basically divided more or less by three. There is a percentage of minutes given to clubs. There is a percentage of minutes given to, taken by La Liga. And then there is a percentage of number given to the broadcaster or media pro in this case. So basically, on one side, it has been a super good thing to have, the fact of having those different feeds. Last season, I think we were on 10 different feeds for top matches, plus one global or raw feed for the rest of matches, let's say. That is a super asset that we can provide to our regional sponsors. However, on the other side, we have also La Liga or Media Pro providing this same asset.
Yeah, so you've got competition not just with the other teams, but you've also got competition with the league itself, with the broadcaster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Here it comes. It is where all these. Our commercial department, all these sponsorship guys, working in that area within the clubs, is where you have to define which are the territories in where you are stronger, where you can offer more things because maybe you have more inventory, so maybe you can balance the assets on a better way, or because maybe the assets you can provide to a certain brand are more aligned to what their strategy is. Other clubs that maybe they have less inventory, or they price maybe too high. Here it's also a bit of market. It's doing a market study, see what are your advantages, disadvantages, who are your main competitors. And then be a bit more sharp.
I guess it ties into the academy thing, right? And the whole internet, the brick and click investment that you guys are making. Those point of differences are essentially what's going to make Real Betis stand aside from other people in those international markets when you're out selling assets and selling sponsorship deals.
Yeah, and also the players that you have in your team, also the experience that you can provide. Obviously,
those connections.
Yeah. On that topic, we are very lucky in Sevilla or in Seville because we have basically 10 months out of 12 during the year where weather is perfect. It's a very, very football city. There are two big clubs, and it's not just about football. It's a city that offers cultural heritage, flamenco, bulls. Everything you can imagine, tapas, sun.
Yeah.
So
telling that story.
Yeah, exactly. So that helps.
Touching on those assets that you have available to you, obviously with the regionalised fees, it means that you can promote stuff in territories that you that don't get seen back in the homeland, Spain. When it comes to gambling partnerships specifically now, and touching on the background that we have at SBC as a wider group, that obviously creates a lot of opportunity for you that I guess otherwise wouldn't be there. Is that probably fair to say?
No, it's totally true. The betting industry has been, and is still linked to the game, but not just football. Any sport.
Incredibly important category for sport with the funding that it brings into sport.
And we, in Spain, I think, after Spain, other countries joined that initiative, but we were kind of pioneers in just eliminating any type of betting advertising. So it happened back in, that was two seasons ago, I think, 2 or 3 seasons ago. We were competing in European competitions with teams at Premier League, at Bundesliga, or other countries that were very much funded by this industry. So they had a lot of money that they could use for players or for other investments that we lost from one season to the other.
Absolutely.
So basically, we changed.
So, that's a big cliff to drop off in one season, right? There wasn't a run-in for it or anything like that. It was just, it's happening. 1 year it's here and the budgets are one thing, and then next year the budgets have got to change because a whole category is not available.
Yeah, totally. And you are competing directly with other teams that have that within their, as many sponsors or pack of jersey or whatsoever. So yeah, that regulation movement changed the whole La Liga club strategy. So we went from a global betting partner, to regional partners, and now it's a strategy that most of teams are following. Also, thanks to these different feeds that La Liga offers, and so basically now we have our Asian betting partner, our Latin American betting partner, our European betting partner. So we are kind of providing the same assets, but in their specific region rather than globally. And obviously, Spain is not considered.
Just touching back on fan engagement, and an area that I know you guys have been particularly active in, is kind of NFT, metaverse, that whole ecosystem. And I appreciate that when we start to get into this ecosystem, it's super broad. There's partners for digital collectibles, partners for avatar garments and whatever else there might be, and everything in between, tokens and all the rest of it. I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on that, how that space has been for you, because I know you've been one of the teams that's really tried to explore that properly and do a fair bit in that whole area.
Yeah, well, here, when you are sitting where you are, just doing again a market study on what are the new trends, what are the new investment, what are the industries that are using the sports marketing as their marketing strategy, for positioning their brand, for developing their business. A couple of years ago, there were this Web3 boom, and is where we started seeing what was going on. At the beginning, there were like massive investments on a topic that no one really knows what it was
100%.
about.
Some big deals were announced.
Yeah, so actually we had a kind of similar experience, but it was very short in time. And since that experience, that we were lucky enough to be able to exit soon and to don't risk much around tokens and
the token, absolutely.
We really find this strategy, and we said, okay, what we are gonna do is we're gonna select the type of partners and partnership that we want to work around. Those partnerships will be short term, and based on their development, then we would be able to extend on a 1 season or 2 season basis. And then we start receiving a lot of offers. I can develop your metaverse. I can do your collectibles or your museum and history memorabilia on 3D, NFT.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, but how are you gonna do that? How are you gonna go to market? What are your expectations? And most of them were offering like revenue share models. And to be honest, from a club perspective, exiting or going, trying to recover yourself from a COVID season, the share revenue was not the perfect one, and more if you were doing a share revenue on something that you don't really understand.
Yeah, you don't understand it. You don't know whether there's any value there. It's hard to know. It's such new technology, such new trends.
Exactly.
How do you genuinely assess the commercial value of something that hasn't been done before?
Exactly. How you monitor the primary market, how you monitor the secondary market, blockchain.
How are the fans going to react? What's the uptake going to be? These are all things that, just question marks, right?
Exactly. So at the end of the day, which is something that now it's a spread, I think, in most of the clubs. But maybe two and a half years ago was not the same situation. The thing is the utility given to the product, right?
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Because based on that utility, the perception from your fan will be different, or the product will be adopted better, or just ignored. Some of the utilities were like very similar to what at the end of the day the club can really offer to any fan. I mean, if you are talking about a VIP experience, the club can offer it. If you are talking about a signed jersey by your favorite player, the club can provide it. So the thing is that we have to go a step farther. We have to offer them some type of entertainment or digital...
a genuinely unique experience that genuinely utilizes the technology rather than it being something that we already do that you're just asking people to pay for.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. And then as we were advancing on those terms with different brands, then we experience a phenomenon, or we start witnessing how brands were diminishing or were decreasing the amount of brands offering you that type of product that you were requesting. So that on one side helped us to define the best partners. With some of them we are currently collaborating. And you see how the product is, how the technical or digital product is, the quality that they offer, all the things that they are able to develop. So you see that because really the partner is the right one. But also we had bad experiences, and we had bad experiences because at some point we had some, for example, we partner until last season with a company that they were issuing digital jerseys that they could be purchased and then used on some metaverse by the avatar. So that would make your avatar quite unique. And the problem at the moment, we are not working anymore with them. The problem there, or the bad experience, or just the takeaways. So the experience that we got out of that partnership is that it's not just the product that they will be able to build, but it's also, again, how the client or the Betis fan, how they will be able to use it. So if you have an NFT that you say that can be used on an avatar, let me know where this avatar can be live. Yeah, in which metaverse or in which scenario. So we have the whole information. Plus that some of these companies, they were using a sport as a massive loudspeaker, but they don't really know anything about how they could take the most out of the assets provided to this brand. So VIP experience or jerseys, they should be offered as an incentive to your fan or to your clients to actively be purchasing more of your products instead of using them very randomly or just for your company peers.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, like, you know, mistakes have been made. I'm sure that it probably won't be the last one in this space because it's so new. It constantly evolving, and I think everybody's trying to keep ahead of the curve, but it's incredibly difficult to do. And not only is it incredibly difficult to work your way through the technology and find the right partners, it's incredibly difficult to find that balance of commercializing that technology and also working in the interests of fans who can genuinely get value and utilize it.
Pablo, we probably speak another hour on all these type of subjects, but no, we really, really appreciate your time jumping on today. Me and George both greatly appreciate it, and maybe we fly down to Sevilla and catch a Betis game one time. Who knows? But
of course. Just let me know when, and obviously Benito Villamarin, consider it your house, or come whenever you want, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for the invite once again.
SBC Media.